Hello, and welcome to Lemon Creek Wildflower Preserve. This video links to Special Interest Point A on our preserve trail map and is the first in a series of videos about the preserve that you can watch as you walk along the preserve trails, or view anytime on our Lemon Bay Conservancy YouTube channel. The 80-acre preserve is located on the Cape Hayes Peninsula in Charlotte County, Florida, at 3120 Gasparilla Pines Boulevard in Inglewood. It is an interesting property because it contains a variety of upland habitats along with several freshwater ponds that feed into tidal Lemon Creek. As Lemon Creek leaves the property, it connects into Lemon Bay to the west and Lemon Lake in the county's Amberjack Preserve to the south. The creek is an estuary, meaning a place where salt and freshwater mix. It provides an important habitat for juvenile tarpon and many other marine species. Sometime in the first half of the 20th century, the pine flatwoods that had existed on this land were harvested, and by the time of this 1951 photo, the property was primarily being used for livestock grazing. In the early 1970s, a real estate group began developing the area as a large planned development community with a golf course and surrounding neighborhoods. The land that is now Lemon Creek Wildflower Preserve operated as an 18-hole executive golf course from around 1974 to 2006. After attempts to sell the land to developers collapsed, Lemon Bay Conservancy successfully negotiated to purchase the property and closed on the sale in September 2010. While the preserve had wonderful biological diversity when the Conservancy purchased it, the natural contours of the property had been heavily modified. Stormwater flowing into the property from nearby neighborhoods was a concern for water quality because that water contained excess nutrients and would eventually reach Lemon Bay. In 2012, Lemon Bay Conservancy began working with the Surface Water Improvement Management Group within the Southwest Florida Water Management District on plans to improve water quality and restore natural systems throughout the 80-acre preserve. The Water Management District initially agreed to provide $750,000 in cooperative funding for the project design and construction, as well as project management leadership. As the project developed, we recognized the need for incremental funding, and both Lemon Bay Conservancy and the district added funds to the project. In 2016, we received a grant from NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, that provided an additional $420,000 to support the restoration. Including our initial property purchase price of $750,000, LBC and our partners spent $2,217,000 to complete the preserve restoration. The first major element of the preserve restoration work was removing the dense growth of Brazilian pepper and other invasive plants that had developed on the site. Heavy equipment was used to remove the unwanted vegetation while carefully protecting the mature native trees and shrubs. The next major project element was expanding and recontouring the wetlands. This graphic depicts the old golf course ponds in the eastern and central areas of the property and the estuarine creek on the western side of the property. In this graphic depicting the restoration design, you can see how the wetland areas are modified and expanded. In the freshwater areas, several ponds were modified to create more gradual banks and to open up the connections between ponds that had previously been underground. On the western side of the property, the estuarine creek system was more than tripled from the original 4.9 acres to approximately 14 acres. We anticipate that the expanded estuarine wetlands will benefit many species, including juvenile tarpon. LBC volunteers are working with Florida Fish and Wildlife scientists in an ongoing research study of the project's impacts. To help filter the water within the preserve before it reaches Lemon Bay, more than 60,000 plants were added to the freshwater wetland banks, and additional plantings were done in the estuarine areas. In the uplands, 5 mounds and berms were created from the soils excavated during the wetland excavations. The raised elevations provide beautiful vantage points to observe the restored habitats. More than 8,000 native trees, shrubs, and grasses were added in 14 planting zones around the preserve, with additional plantings planned as funds become available. As you watch other videos in this series, you'll learn more about the preserve and the wonderful range of habitats that have been rapidly developing since the primary restoration project was completed in January of 2021. Lemon Creek Wildflower Preserve is different from other nearby parks and preserves because it is owned by nonprofit Lemon Bay Conservancy and is being managed and improved by Lemon Bay Conservancy volunteers and community groups. We have placed a conservation easement on the property to ensure its perpetual protection. We receive no county funding. Preserve improvements are funded by LBC members and donors and by generous grants from our partners in conservation and preservation. Our continuing purpose for the preserve is to protect and enhance the habitats to provide a refuge for wildlife with opportunities for environmental education and scientific research. The preserve is open to Lemon Bay Conservancy members daily and to the general public as part of regularly scheduled nature tours and events. We invite you to become a member of the Conservancy and to join us for our many activities, both here at the preserve and around our beautiful areas.